Listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show. The real about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/truthontapshow. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truthontap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth. Truth on Tap.
Yeah, you know, it's a miracle that I'm even here, frankly. What do you call a miracle? Truth on Tap, your host Kevin Kierstead. We'll discuss life after death because no topic is safe from my wrath. You know this. You know this. Monitoring the show here for a second, making sure we don't get any crazy stuff. A little crazy is okay. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds okay. So yeah, that's what I wanted to check. And life after death and randominity. I picked the word. I made the word up. I'm allowed to do that. Now, what I'm going to do very quickly is go Google, see if anyone else has this word up, at least on the internet. Randominity. And the results say, actually, it is in it's already been made up. But see, I didn't steal it from them. Of course it had. I would have known it had already been made up. You know, parallel discoveries are not anything to be proud of, and yet we tend to not be aware of them. You know, I thought of it. No, probably a couple 100,000 people thought of it around the same time. That's the way I feel about it, to be honest with you. Life after death, do you believe in it? We're going to have to get a little bit into religion. Can't avoid that altogether. We're going to have to get a little bit into philosophy. It's going to be part of this meal. We're going to have to get a little bit into science. Can't escape that. Got to have science if we're going to talk about life after death. And you may not hear what you want to hear. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. I'd like to share with you. But what I'll do is bring you what seem to be some of the more respectable resources and what they're saying about it. And we'll go from there. So, what is the common scientific view right now of life after death? It goes a few different ways. The biggest one, and this I'm actually quoting an article here on Science, howstuffworks.com, has science explained life after death. Basically, what they're saying in this article is that your brain can be dead, and your brain stem can still be alive or still dying. So there can still be activity there. And because there's activity there, you can actually have an REM experience. And people are going, well, what's so big about an REM experience? Rapid eye movement? Isn't that the deepest stage of sleep? You got 4 stages of sleep, and then you have REM. Yeah, it's the deepest stage. And when you have REM, they say, and I don't know if I buy this because I've had one of these experiences before. You might have heard it. It's every country has a different name for it. Up in like Finland, Scandinavian countries, they call it the old hag syndrome, I believe. You wake up and you get this feeling that you're paralyzed, first of all, and you get the feeling of an evil presence in the room. This has been blamed on a lot of so-called alien abduction stories, and I believe that's possible. People could actually believe there are aliens in the room when there's nothing. Happened to me once. I woke up. I didn't feel, like there's aliens, but I did feel like something evil was in the house with me, other than my ex-wife, who was laying beside me, other than her. Well, I won't go any deeper into that. But it's a really scary feeling. I mean, you wake up, you're paralyzed, okay? Because if you haven't heard about it, there's something called it's basically called a spinal gate theory, but drop the theory because it's actually real. It's spinal gate. And it turns you off so that when you're dreaming about fighting a bear, you don't go flying out your second story window. All right? It's there to protect you. Well, sometimes the conscious mind beats the spinal gate to the surface, and it has not opened yet to turn on everything. So, you're experiencing paralysis, sleep paralysis, as a result of your conscious mind having woken up faster than your, I guess they'd say your limbic system. Either way, that's all it is. It's nothing major. Now, they're saying that in those experiences, it's common to have an OBE, out-of-body experience. I don't think so. I have yet to hear about anybody who claims to have been abducted by aliens seeing their body back behind them. That only tends to come in NDEs, which are near-death experiences. Now, are the people telling the truth? I think some of them are respectable. I think some of them honestly believe, they are not lying, that they had an out-of-body experience when they were supposedly dead on the operating table. Now, the question is this. Is that happening as a result of random or non-random firing of neurons? I believe dreaming is random firing of neurons. Non-random firing of neurons in the brain stem, even though the brain is not functioning in a conscious way and may even be not functioning at all at a higher level, or is there something really going on there spiritually? And spiritually is a big, broad, sweeping term to really cover stuff that we don't understand scientifically, if there is, in fact, some sort of conscious life going on after death. So, what is it about REM that has them thinking that this would explain near-death experiences? Now, you know what the average near-death experience is, right? So what happens? The person dies. They immediately feel themselves rise up out of their body. This can be, you might have seen the special on CNN. I did not see it. I saw an intro to it the day before, but CNN had a special about life after death a couple nights ago, Sunday night, I believe. Yeah, last night. And I missed it. But there has been some recent interest in this. I actually watched a documentary on it a few weeks ago to see what the doctors had to say about it. And it's been cooking in my head a little bit since. There are a few doctors out there that are kind of on a crusade to get people to believe that, yes, actually there is life after death. And you're risking your entire reputation as a surgeon when you come into that arena. Because science wants science. You know how it works? Yeah. It's kind of sad, but, you can't blame them. If you don't prove it, it doesn't exist. That's the extreme end of the scientific mind and the skeptic. So you have to have both ends. That's where we find the middle. So you die. You believe that you're rising out of your body. You can see your body. Some people can tell you where others are standing, even though their eyes were closed, and what they were doing. Now, could that be that, yeah, your brainwave activity is dead, but the lower parts of your brain and brain stem are still functioning, allowing you to hear and possibly record what's going on around you, and then maybe you're just guessing where those people are standing. You have to factor in the possibility. I'm not telling you to tell me I'm right on any one of these points. I'm saying factor in the possibility and then weigh the evidence. This is how you get to good decisions. So let's go ahead and say there you are. You think you're floating above. What happens? What are the most common things? Well, they see somebody comes to meet them that they recognize, right? They see a light at the end of a tunnel. Almost always happens. they feel a remarkable sense of comfort and love. Now, the scientist in me says, okay, I probably could explain that away. Because when your body is experiencing pain, which would typically be the case if you find yourself in a life or death situation, then it's going to release a mad number of endorphins. And that is essentially the body's own heroin. Of course you're going to feel a sense of comfort and love when that's being pumped into your body from your body in the form of endorphins, release and then reuptake. So there's that. Now, the out-of-body experience, why do they always see their body? Why don't they sometimes rise up and look down and nobody's there? That one kind of baffles me. But could it be because human beings are so self-absorbed and self-concerned that even in our dreamlike state, if we believe we've died, we have to look back and see our own body? Are we so self-absorbed that we project ourselves onto an otherwise blank canvas when all other things are missing? That is a possibility that I have to entertain. The scientific part of me has to entertain that possibility. So you got the warmth happening by endorphins, the warmth and the love feeling. You have the floating feeling, which could be simply you being lack of oxygen. That might be a very common result of lack of oxygen, is that floating feeling. And then to add to that, you have the endorphins for the warmth. You're looking at the tunnel of light. Well, the doctors have already shown that that's a common thing to see when you go through something called, what the hell is it called? I don't remember. Maybe they'll say it on this one page I was referring you to. I can't remember. It's not. It sounds like the word asphyxiation a little bit, but it's not. It's something where the brain has a lack of oxygen and begins to somehow make you believe you're seeing a light in the center. So we'll go ahead on to the second page of this. It's a 3-page article. Google along with me. The science.howstuffworks.com. Just Google how stuff works out. The temporal parietal junction in OBs. If you don't know brain, brain structure, you have lobes. You have the occipital lobe, that's in the back. That's where your vision and stuff processes. And then you have your parietal, your temporal, and your frontal lobe. So you have 4 lobes. I'm going off memory here, so I'm trying to get them in order. While the REM intrusion theory for near-death experiences explains apparent hallucinations that accompany NDEs, another aspect remains a mystery. How can a person watch his body after he dies? It's indicating that they are a different animal than NDEs. Yeah. What they're doing here is comparing OBEs to NDEs and saying that they're separate experiences, but not necessarily happening at different times, if that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, call a congressman. I don't give a fuck. Figure it out. This is supported by a bit of accidental research. This is the separation theory here, basically, is what I'm talking about. To find the cause of a 43-year-old epileptic patient's seizures, Swiss neurologist Dr. Olaf Blank, or Blank, depends on how you want to say it, conducted a brain mapping test using electrodes planted on the brain to determine which area controls what function. As one region was being stimulated, the woman had a sudden out-of-body experience. She told Blank that she could see herself from above. Wow, I did not know this. Blank determined that by electrically stimulating the woman's angular gyrus, and no, that is not G-spot, a part of the temporal parietal junction, that's where the temporal and parietal lobes come together, of course, he could induce her OBEs. What's remarkable is that the patient experienced an OBE each time her angular gyrus was arbitrarily stimulated. I'll be damned. I did not know about this. This is new on me. I had no idea the study had been done. I will be reading up on this shit. At any given time, the brain is assaulted with information. As a result, we become desensitized, and that's true, to the sights and sounds around us, such as the buzz of a fluorescent light. The temporal parietal junction, TPJ, is responsible for sorting through this disparate information and putting it together in a coherent package. The TPJ also happens to be the region that controls our comprehension of our own body and a situation in space. Blanc believes that a misfiring of this region is responsible for OBEs. I think that's a leap to take, but I can't blame him. It sure is a possibility looking at this. If, in fact, he could duplicate in a lab how he excited that particular part of her brain to give her an OBE, it makes sense. But the misfiring doesn't make sense because the mapping would have to be remapped. I mean, you don't just, I don't know, random firing is one thing, misfiring is another. I guess if the brain's half dead, it could start making some errors on where it's trying to send signals. That doesn't make sense to me, but it's possible. I have to allow for the possibility. I mean, this guy's doing this his whole life, so I'm not going to question his science. I will question it, but you know what I mean. Take his word for the word right now until I can find proof against it. If any of the information being sorted by the temporal junction becomes crossed, like where we are in space, then we could seemingly be released from the confines of our body, even if only for a moment. Okay, that makes sense too. So your sense of balance and everything has been short-circuited, leading you to believe that, hey, I'm floating, I have no weight, But what about when you put the two together as an explanation? So they're getting away from the separation theory and coming back together here. So they're coming back together with OBEs and NDEs. OBEs, those are out-of-body experiences. NDEs are near-death experiences. Okay, so how does one explain the other when they're both happening at once? And keep in mind, causation is not correlation. That is one of the most important sentences you can ever say. Causation does not equal correlation necessarily. Sometimes it does. Sometimes a correlation is a direct result of a thing A correlating to a thing B because thing A is causing thing B. But sometimes not, and that's the problem people forget. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes correlation and causation, I need to talk about this for a second because it's important. You notice that 300 people come into your town that have come there for a summer break. 300 people have come into your town. You suddenly find that in your normal water testing, which has been done once a month forever, there's been a major spike in fecal bacteria in the drinking water. You automatically assume that because 300 people are in town, they're adding to the fecal bacteria in tap water. For one thing, that's insane. But there may be a correlation. What could the correlation be? Could be that one of the local companies has a need for increased production of something, and that increased production requires more animals, say, and more of the animal feces are getting into the runoff water that's going into the drink. So no, they're not causing it, but there is a correlation, those 300 people coming to town. Things like that. That's where you look at causation and correlation. And you need to know the difference. It's a big deal. It's something you really need to bake on for a while if you've never really been taught the difference. It's so important to understanding the world today, because the reason I say that, you look at some place like an Alex Jones page, everybody believes this caused that, don't they? They would have told you right away, those 300 people that came into town, they've poisoned the goddamn water supply. They brought their own fecal bacteria in vials. They snuck in late at night wearing ninja outfits. And goddamn it, they poisoned the water supply. Arrest those people. Arrest them. That's the difference. That's the difference between a thinker and an idiot. It is. Simple. They want to make it simple. Conspiracy theorists want everything to be explainable quickly, simply. They give you a reason to blame somebody else for your problems, is another thing about them. I think about 10% of major conspiracy theories deserve a second look. Most of them, the other 90% are bullshit. And people like Alex Jones will basically screw you in your paranoia hole and then sell you the cure to the disease he just gave you. That's how he operates. NDEs, now let's go ahead and talk about them put together. Remember correlation and causation, because it plays a factor here. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking for where they combine here. Comprehension, yeah. So both Blanks and the University of Kentucky theories explain OBEs and NDEs, but what about when you put the two together? This still does not resolve how Pam Reynolds and others like her view themselves outside of their bodies while they were brain dead. NDEs may be a result of REM intrusion. This is what I was telling you about earlier. triggered in the brainstem, but OBEs are controlled by a region of the higher brain, which is clinically dead when NDEs occur. Okay, good point. What's more, it seems logical to believe that the higher brain must still function in order to interpret the sensations produced by the REM intrusion triggered in the brainstem. Good point. So you shouldn't feel any out-of-body stuff going on just because you have an REM intrusion and you're having an NDE, because you have activity in the brainstem, because the higher portions of your brain responsible for feeling balance and the connectedness to gravity are not functioning. So that shouldn't be allowed to happen. But it does. But it does. So we'll keep going with this. Very interesting study here, or series of studies, I should say. Even though combining the University of Kentucky and Blank's theories does not produce an explanation for NDEs, it does not mean that either theory is wrong. Research in one area often leads to a breakthrough in another. That's true. Perhaps we will find out that an organic function is indeed behind NDEs. If neurology does come up with the definitive explanation for NDEs, the mystery may still remain. Science could explain the how while leaving the why unanswered. Discovering an explanation for NDEs may reveal a door to the metaphysical world, which could possibly be unlocked and explored by science. As physician Dr. Melvin Morse wrote, simply because religious experiences are brain-based does not automatically lessen or demean their spiritual significance. Indeed, the findings of neurological substrates to religious experiences can be argued to provide evidence for their objective reality. That is a very strong statement. And because of that, and because of the implications of it, I need to read it to you one more time. Stand by here. Simply because religious experiences are brain-based does not automatically lessen or demean their spiritual significance. That means, okay, we've limited it to everything's happening in the head, but that doesn't mean that we've limited it to not meaning much. Oh, if we take the brain out, there's no spiritual experience. Okay, so what? So what? That does not mean that the brain is causing the illusion of a spiritual experience. That's what he's saying. And he goes on to say, indeed, the findings of neurological substrates to religious experiences can be argued to provide evidence for their objective reality. Now, what's he saying there in a bunch of fancy words? He's saying that when you can relate something happening in the brain to experiences being felt categorically by a person in their mind, that is a subjective view, then you may be actually reinforcing the belief of a spiritual existence by showing that the body is experiencing it using those parallel biological functions in the brain. You know, and he's talking about that being evidence for their objective reality. That's not subjective. That's the real deal. That's reproducible. So, that's a strong statement. It really is. And I'm surprised a physician made that, because they don't tend to dabble in this. Yet, I saw a documentary, the one I was telling you about, where there was a team of physicians, a few of them, not a bunch. A team sounds like a lot. It was actually one or two guys, and they would find a third or fourth guy, one in India and one in Africa. And they all said, yes, we believe in this life after death. I'm going to go to the next page, but I think to make sure. All right. So that's it. That's it for that. I'll close that one. What they and I have some other stuff I need to read to you, and stuff that we need to talk about. Regardless of your religious beliefs, you probably should allow for the possibility that there is life after death. When you consider that we only have a few dimensions in space that we're able to experience, and when you consider that we have only 5 senses that we know of right now, we may be working on a 6th. Keep in mind these senses came around one at a time, okay? Sight, smell, taste, these came one at a time. So who's to say we wouldn't keep on developing senses? Who's to say? Who's to say we won't lose some along the way that nature says you don't need anymore? It could happen. It could happen. And it would be foolish to say, no, there's not life after death. Because that's just saying, since I don't know it, it must not be. And that is one of the most narrow-minded things you can do. And a scientist is going to jump up and say, no, it's not, Kevin. Prove it or it doesn't exist. No, that's silly. Because can you imagine, you're saying the same shit they said back when Copernicus came around. You know what he had to say. You're saying the same shit the guy said then. Prove it or it doesn't exist. You're a fool. What the hell do you mean that the sun is the center of our solar system and that the Earth's not the center of the universe? Are you crazy? You're crazy. Get out of here. Ha ha ha. Everybody pointing and laughing. Yeah. Now that doesn't mean that you could just take any old goddamn idea and say that it's as, prolific as understanding that the sun was the center of the solar system and that we were nowhere near the center of the universe. No. But the idea is a defining characteristic of what happens when one dares to step outside of the known and poke around at the unknown. And you should be able to carry that idea with you to say, this is a maybe. This is a maybe. You should not be ostracized for saying what if. And don't let people do it. Let them ostracize you. I don't care. Personally, you can tell me I'm fucking lunatic. I already know I'm a certain level of crazy. If you call me more crazy than that, I won't believe you because I feel like I have a good grip on how crazy I am. But I'll listen to you. And I insist on there being reason and logic behind my stuff before I really believe in it. This is why I remain open on so many issues, because I've seen convincing arguments from both sides or multiple sides, because some of these issues are multifaceted and can't be reduced to black and white. There are many gray areas. So is there life after death? If you're somebody like a Deepak Chopra, he believes there's a giant sea of consciousness out there. If you can imagine that, it's not something you'd be able to see, okay, with your eyes. A sea of consciousness would be like a field of electricity that your brain and all of your, your personality traits would go into and once again be united with everyone else's. Here's what I'm thinking, folks. I'm just going to break off into what I think. If life after death is that, it better be fun, because I don't want to float around in a sea for all eternity just thinking shit. I think I'd rather go ahead and rest. Yeah. If there is a life after death and I have to go play a harp on a cloud, I don't like that. I don't want to play a harp on a cloud. Let me die. Just let me die the real way. If life after death is a bunch of people running around like hippies in white robes through fields of cotton candy, flying gay kites, I would rather just die. Y'all can have heaven. Let me go rest permanently. Yeah, I'm honest. I'm being honest. Now, if I had to take the fields of cotton candy over hell, and hell is what they say it is, which I doubt. I do not believe in a hell. I just don't. I have my reasons. And I might explain them to you later if I feel like it. I guess I'll take the fields of cotton candy, but I'm going to fuck shit up when I'm up there. Oh, yeah. All the gay stuff, I'm going to be like, bitches, here's what's going to happen. We're putting on some Public Enemy in this bitch. We're about to break out some disco lights up in here. I'm bringing some hoes in and some pimps. We're about to bring some liquor out in here. Marijuana's legal now. It should be legal in heaven. Go ahead and bring the dope up. Snoop Dogg should be allowed to come up from hell for a little while, just for entertainment. Let that shit go on. Now we're in heaven. Now we can enjoy heaven a little bit, especially if there's no hangovers, Yeah, now that might work. I could work with that, especially over the burning hell, and it might work for me. But if it's some sort of just thinking, I don't think I want to go on. Would you? I mean, you can imagine permanent rest, right? It is the lack of existence. It is your brain going out of business. That's all. Just stopping. But think of this. No more problems. No more problems. Not one. Not a physical problem. Not a money problem. Not a spiritual problem. Not a behavioral problem. Nothing is wrong. You don't have to make rent next month. You're dead. You don't have to worry about what you did wrong in life, even as you would in an afterlife. You're gone. You're at rest. It's over. It's all done. It's over. You're at exactly zero thought and zero energy. You'll hear people say, well, they've already proven that energy can neither be created or destroyed. It can only change forms. That's true. But it would be foolish to think that energy changing forms necessarily equates to your dead body and the energy that was in it when it was alive turning into some meaningful spirit. Because if that were the case, then it would be important that we also note that every ant and insect that ever dies and leaves a carcass also has to have gotten rid of its energy, and it must be a spirit too. Right? You think all ants go to heaven? People don't ask themselves questions, you know. They read a book that somebody wrote, and they decide, I'll believe in that. And they don't even ponder some of the reason and logic mismatches that you'll find in the very book. Don't even look outside at science or anything. Just look at everything in the book and see what doesn't match up. You're going to find inconsistencies within the work itself. That's why you should never really ascribe to any one thing too harshly. I just keep an open mind about it all. That's what I do. You might say, well, that's indecisive. Maybe it is. Maybe indecisive is something I see as a strength. I do. I think when you don't close your mind on something, you leave the opening for new knowledge to come in. And that is the only thing that can make me smarter than I am today. That is accepting new knowledge. That's just the way I am. That's my personal philosophy on that. Life after death. Would you want life after death? Let me go see if anybody in the chat room right now. I don't have anybody in the chat room right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the message up here. Would you want life after death? And how would you want it to go? There we go. Personally, I just think that let's say this. Let's get crazy with it. I've written some fiction books, I can imagine. So you die, your body's gone, you're done with Earth. You realize immediately that it was all kind of a big joke. You don't even feel sadness because you know you'll see your family again. You're not worried about that. Time is not an issue. And you appear in this different world. And this world is like a planet, but not really. It has several different planes to it. You can hop anywhere in the universe at the blink of an eye to do anything with anybody. And we couldn't even explain to you this new set of physical surroundings, and it is physical. It turns out that this universe was just a toenail on a giant. And you can go anywhere through the giant's body. And you're going, God, that sounds fucking crazy, Kevin. Well, you tell me. You tell me what it is. Why not? Why not? Why not poke around that? So let's assume it is. And you can have your paradise. What is it? White sands? A little blue flame fire burning? Little hammock beside that? Couple palm trees? Dolphins swimming out in your little clear ocean? Is that what it is for you? Is it a mountain cabin sitting by a stream where you can go out and catch German brown trout with a fly rod? Is that what your fantasy is for life after death? Are you at the beach with the waves crashing in and a couple of people out there on surfboards and throwing the frisbee to the dog? Is that what you see heaven as, with all the people that you love? I don't want to walk around on clouds. I don't want to. I don't see how that would be entertaining. I don't want to keep on going after I've reached a certain level. I mean, unless there's work to do, real work, real good that you can do for a greater good, because humanity's a lost cause to me after I die. I'll do what I can while alive. I don't want to keep fucking with it after I'm dead. I don't. I will have had enough by then. I can already measure. I can already tell I'm 2/3 full. I'll be done with humanity when I'm ready to die. So I would not, at least if I keep my current personality, I would not be interested in continuing to work on the flaws of humanity after death. It just wouldn't, I'll do what I can while I'm alive. I try to pass on ideas that I have in books and stuff, in articles, in my blog, and my radio shows. I'm doing my part to try to say, hey, here's how I feel about it. Maybe you'll find some value in some of my opinions, That's me, and I do feel a common need to reach out to humanity. I connect very well with people, understand people very well, and I feel a need to help people in that way. I think I can help people, and I have helped people before, and that's what gives me that confidence that maybe the words I'm sharing here can give somebody something they can use. That's my ultimate goal, and I've said that before about writing books. My ultimate goal is to give you, with books, something that you haven't had before, and especially, something where when you put the book down after you're done reading it, you say to yourself, and most important to me, is I did not waste my time reading that book. As long as you were not wasting your time, that means I either educated you or entertained you or both. And that is success to me. Now, when it comes to doing the radio show, same thing pretty much, but I'd rather educate you on something than just entertain you. The problem is I'm not any infinite source of wisdom, and that's why I have to look stuff up all the time. What I try to do, what I try to offer that maybe everybody else isn't offering, is putting the ideas together and constructing nice little sets of ideas for you. Maybe that I think I can do. So life after death is what we're talking about today. Would you want it? Would you like it? Or would you just like to rest? What do you think it's going to be like? Do you think there even is life after death? Or do we go the way of the worms? Is that what happens? That's what we're going to find out. And we're going to do that after I play a few songs, because we have to do that as well. One of those things we have to do. Bad Ace, I haven't played a special in a long time. So I'm going to load that one up high here on my little playlist. Yeah, we'll do that. Bad Ace, a special. And then we'll do, let's see. I'm going to get one I haven't played in a while from CC Mixter. So maybe, I don't know, how about... could do Good Day by Alex. Let me pre-listen to that. I want to make sure I'm not giving you like a poem. Yeah, I got my little pre-listen set up here. Yeah, that's actually a good song. Yeah, we'll do that. It's kind of like a slow, I don't know. It almost sounds like Nickelback a little bit. Anyway, you'll see. So we'll do that. Pull that up here. Yeah. That's called A Good Day by Alex, featuring Donnie Ozone. And of course, these are songs I get that are Creative Commons from CC Mixter. And that way we don't have to worry about licensing issues and things of that nature. Plus, you're promoting unknown artists. Frankly, if I got a license where I could play all the greatest known artists of all time, I still wouldn't. That's just me. You'll see, because I probably will get one. I won't. I'll play new artists, young artists, unusual stuff. Kind of is my thing, you know. That's what I'll do. And what you'll do is take a little break here, and maybe you have to pee. That happens. Maybe you have to do something a little more intense. There it is. There it is. And if you light that, you're going to have a whole new dilemma going on. You know, you may actually launch. And since it is 10:37 here in Fucktardia, this is when we do Traffic on the Hour.
Traffic on the Hour.
And I'm looking out my window. Ain't nary a cracker out there. So there's your Traffic on the Hour. Nary a cracker out there. Oh, there goes one. Yep, one redneck pickup truck with a tailgate down. There's your Traffic on the Hour. And so having said all that, we'll get to this right now.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/truthontapshow. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there, as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned, or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truthontap and look for the live episode, or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Tearster.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give my rank, my heart. It's mine to share my songs, my heart.
Truth on Tap.
Invite to use just the mission to use you compare or to define. Chop it up and recombine. Chop it up and
Truth
recombine.
on Tap. To Truth on Tap with host Kevin Tearster.
Do you think you know just who you are? Driving around chasing money in a man-made car. Do you ever think about it? Don't you think it's bizarre? You're in the Milky Way, floating around in the stars. It's like who, what, when, where, why am I? And all this time we've been just a speck in the sky. It's like a cosmic joke that can make you laugh. Your whole existence is the sum of the cosmic math. Or if you woke up this this morning, then it's a good day. If you woke up healthy, it's a good day. If you woke up refreshed, then it's a good day. So get up, get out, get on your way. If you woke up broke, it's still a good day. If you woke up diseased, it's still a good day. If you woke up exhausted, still a good day because you woke up. So get on your way. Now if you have some today, then give some away, cause what you give will come back on another day. Not in the same form, and just so you know, what you reap is what you will eventually sow. Like if you rise to the top, you'll have to come back down to find your feet firmly planted back on the ground. And if you live by the gun, you might die by one, because it only takes one shot to blot out the sun. Now if you woke up this morning, it's a good day. If you woke up healthy, it's a good day. If you woke up refreshed, then it's a good day. So get up, get out, get on your way. If you woke up broke, it's still a good day. And if you woke up diseased, it's still a good day. And if you woke up exhausted, still a good day because you woke up. So get on your way. Now when the lights go out for good, how will you turn them back on? Did you create yourself in a physical form? Did you breathe the breath of life into your lungs and make your heart beat since before you were one? Did you take 2 cells and make them 4, then turn 4 into 8 and make 8 million more? Did you realize one day that you were alive and forget that one day you would eventually die? Well, if you woke up this morning, then it's a good day. And if you woke up healthy, then it's a good day. If you woke up refreshed, then it's a good day. So get up, get out, get on your way. If you woke up broke, it's still a good day. And if you woke up diseased, it's still a good day. And if you woke up exhausted, still a good day because you woke up. Now get on your way.
To Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Well, just listening to that last song, still talking about life after death here. If you woke up, isn't that what he said? If you woke up, no matter what condition you woke up in, it's still a good day. If you woke up with a disease, it's still a good day. All right, keep that in the back of your mind, and then let me tell you this. Think of the average Christian. Now, I know quite a few Christians, especially in my little Bible Belt section of Virginia, and I hear them say things like this. Well, I woke up, so that's good enough. And then I hear them say things like this. In heaven, everything is beautiful. You have your mansion in the sky, it's already built. You have an eternal comfort and love and no trials and tribulations like you have in this life. All right, I think you know where I'm going with this, folks. If heaven is so great, why are we thankful for another day on earth? There's a problem. See, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Now, I don't want to single-handedly bring down the hope of humankind. That certainly is not why I'm here. And the kids are looking up saying, what do we believe in? What do we believe in? I don't know, kids. I don't know. I like science. I think science has the most promise for making real positive change. Culture, understanding other cultures, caring about other humans and animals and the environment. You don't have to be a hippie. Come on. I mean, in our circle of life, we are going to kill some nature, and that has to be acceptable. But do we need to take so much? I mean, can't we cap that off? The population boom, the way it's going right now, along with the associated scrambling for resources, is going to leave us in a really bad spot by the year 2050. And we need some major solutions before then. maybe caring about each other and the environment a little more and less about becoming billionaires would help. I don't know. Maybe it would. Because what does religion do? Religion tells you, don't worry about it. God will fix it. Doesn't it? I mean, that's essentially what can you do? God will fix it. If those people are damaging the earth, God will punish them. If I'm not damaging the earth, well, God will reward me. Or whatever. And maybe you think God doesn't care about the earth. This is just a place. To him that means nothing. Okay. So you got no evidence for any of that, but you believe it. We humans are subject to believe in life after death because we cannot understand our purpose here. That really is the problem, my friends. We don't know our purpose here. So we have had to go to the end and fix the story and then look back from that. Now we have a purpose. We know where we're going. You really don't know where you're going. And let's go ahead and pretend for a moment that there is no life after death. Or maybe we're not pretending. Maybe it's actually that way. So let's say we find out, somehow for certain, I don't see how that'd be possible, but somehow for certain we now know that there is no life after death. And you're going to die, and you're going to never be heard from again, and you're never going to think again. So you know this too. You know this as you're going to your deathbed, and you're asking yourself this question: what was the purpose of my life? If you believe that there is no life after death, and if you believe that you're not in some capacity directly contributing to the goodness of the life of others, you may see your life as unnecessary. Why do it? Why go through it every morning? Why get up like that? Why go to bed every night with worries in my stomach when I'm not really accomplishing anything that means anything? My life means nothing anyway. Well, here's the one thing I would say to that. If you decide to become a nihilist or whatever you want to be and believe that there is no life after death and there's no purpose to this life, I would say this. I would say that whatever this life is, I find it probably a unique experience. I doubt that you'll go through it in this capacity again. I'm not even sure I would buy reincarnation. I think maybe you only get to go through this life one time as you, and maybe that's it, or maybe there's more later in a different place in a different body. I don't know, but in this life, this one time, this is it. You're not going to go through this one again. So you got an experience here. You got an experience here that you must agree you could not have gotten anywhere else, probably. Keep that in mind and then consider this. What if your mom had decided before she had any kids, I don't have any use, I'm going to off myself? You'd say, well, I'd never know it, so it wouldn't hurt me. True. But you got a chance. You got a chance to experience this world for whatever the fuck it is. You got your chance. The beauty and the ugliness of it. So why don't we at least keep in mind that we should probably give our own future generations a chance? Even if this is, as far as you can see, a meaningless existence. Maybe we're working toward what we're supposed to be doing and we haven't even realized it yet. But if everybody decides to become a nihilist at once and just off ourselves, or we do it through some other stupid means like nuclear weapons, well then we've already cut ourselves off before we even know what our real potential is. And the only way we're going to find out our real potential is to keep on going and spread out in the universe, which is what we're going to do. What I'm saying is maybe your life has no purpose other than to be a part of this machine that is perpetuating more life. And that doesn't mean that you have to have kids. That can mean you're working for somebody who has 6 kids. By the very fact that you're there and under his guidance, he's making more money, able to feed them kids that are going to go on and have 15 kids of their own. So you can be directly or indirectly involved in perpetuating life and be serving a purpose that you don't even realize you're serving, and that we might not see the fruits from for another 2 million years. So what I'm saying is at least allow for the possibility that your life is very meaningful. even if you can't see any real meaning in it, because those future generations that will be there in part or in whole due to your contributions to their existence, those future generations may just come to a point where they're saying, thank you for keeping that chain going, because I got my chance, and now here is why we're here. You don't know. Until we know, we can't accurately evaluate our life for value, can we? We can't. If we thought that heaven was beautiful and that heaven was eternal and that we're all going there, then this life would seem like a nuisance to us. A nuisance. Why do we have to go through this dumb shit? Is it a school? Is it some kind of class? Did we volunteer for it? That's what some people think. Betty J. Eady, she says she died on the operating table. She went to heaven, met Jesus, the 12-man council, the whole bit. Warrior angels, all that. She says it's a kind of a school. I don't think so. See, because here's what I believe. For one thing, if there's an omnipotent God, as so many seem to think there is, you think that he would have to send you to Earth to experience this life in this way to learn what? To learn what, folks? And what part of that would stick with your spirit? I mean, look at what happens. My grandpa died at probably, I don't know, I think he lived at 89 years old, maybe a little bit more. I think it was 89 on my mom's side. And he died basically in the medium stages of Alzheimer's. He didn't know anybody. He didn't recognize anybody when they came. He once told me, when I went to see him at an old folks' home, he had these grippers, these hand grippers. You remember the little exercise things? I said, Grandpa, what are you working out for? Why are you trying to still get strong? He said, Mike Tyson came and stole his wallet, and he was going to be ready the next time he came. And I looked over there, and his wallet's right on the end table. I'm serious. I swear to God, this is a true story. God, if you're there, strike me down dead if I'm lying. So, I didn't laugh then. I laughed a lot later. But he believed it. He believed it. He had seen some news about this Mike Tyson guy, and, that was that. It got into his head, and the broken brain, and such was the product. So you're telling me that when he dies, he loses that dementia, that brain degradation, and somehow recaptures what? His 60-year-old mind? His 40-year-old mind? His 20-year-old mind? What part of his mind does he take with him? You're saying none of it? Just his spirit? Well, what is that? I'm just this smiling ball of energy? Do I not think? You don't even know what it is you're hoping goes on, much less what it really is, if anything goes on. What a sad state we're in. You know what we need to do, folks? And this is something I've been preaching a while, but it always bears repeating. We need to accept that we're not very far along. We're relative babes in the woods when it comes to the advancement of our own thinking, okay? We really are. If the total knowledge in the universe is a 100, on a 100 scale, we're at far less than the number 1. Far, far less than the number 1. So, yet you're expecting us to behave on some 90th percentile of both moral and scientific knowledge, as if we really are some sort of super advanced species. We are not. We are not. We are stupid compared to what we could be if we keep studying, keep learning, and keep growing, So maybe we're expecting too much of ourselves. I think that's part of this herky-jerky start that humanity's getting when you look at the fast-forward tape. We're expecting way too much of ourselves with these animal instincts still hanging around, and they are strong, and you know it. That's getting people put into cages. That's why. The laws don't agree with the behaviors. Now, some of those things that necessarily harm other people need to be there, because a person who's not harming other people and not hurting anybody else shouldn't go to jail. Theoretically speaking, I mean, the laws are going to specify, you have your white-collar crime and whatnot, but if he's not harming anybody else, you ask yourself, why was that law made? Why was that law made? Who does that law protect? So have we gone past our own abilities with these laws? Have we? Because we are still animals. Don't let anybody tell you different. We are animals. And if we can't even get to the number 1 anytime soon, on the 100 scale of the universal knowledge tree, how could we possibly expect to understand even what life after death would be, much less what it is? Our imaginations are even limited. You don't think your imagination is limited? Try to imagine a color right now that you've never seen. I'll wait. Imagine a color you've never seen. It's a piece of paper, okay? It is this color that we're talking about, and it is a color you have never, ever seen in your life. What color is it? How can you explain it to me? Are you even seeing anything other than some shade of the other colors you've seen? Hard to imagine, isn't it? Your imagination is limited. It is limited to the framework that you've been given. And the framework that you've been given is incredibly small in stature compared to what it could and I hope will be someday. And that means that it's not just scientifically that we're limited. It is in our very structure of knowledge. You know, we can fill up the container and say, my God, we've got all the knowledge. But then we look and we see the container is the size of a beaker and the whole of knowledge is the size of a 55-gallon drum. And we go, oh, well, yeah, I was full, but that doesn't mean much, does it? No, it really doesn't. So the question is, how can we get to the point where we could have all of the 55 gallons in our little beaker? That's going to require a lot more thinking than we have the ability to do right now. Yep. And it'll come, I think. But for us to understand life after death, we have to expand not just scientifically, not in those ways, but spiritually. And I'm not a spiritual person. I am not a spiritual person. I don't know why. I don't feel like there's something always going on. People say, everything happens for a reason. Yeah, I believe everything happens for a reason, because of cause and effect. That's all. I do not believe that there's a giant anthropomorphic figure out there manipulating every move on Earth. I know why people believe that. And it's a sad part of human life to me, that we have to believe that everything outside of us that may be good must look like a human. You know? That's why we attribute human attributes to aliens. That's why we think God looks like us, if there is a God. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how self-centered we are, how much in love with ourselves we are. So maybe that's what needs to be looked at. But, you know, speaking more, and I'm going to start drifting off of the life after death topic here. So if that's what you came for, you may want to tune out now, because I'm just going to have some fun now, which is kind of a new format I'm doing. I like to do the topic, and then I go into what I'm calling randominity, which is already a word that's being used in other contexts, but I'm using it for my purposes, which is randomness. And there were some things I've seen lately that I wanted to talk about, and here's the thing. I'm the first guy to tell you humans have not evolved very far, and I know evolved's a funny word too, but I'll say adapted. Humans have not adapted very well to the idea of being truly advanced in our thinking, so we're down there on that low scale. So it shouldn't be my place to be disappointed in our behavior, should it? I'm the guy telling you that we're not that advanced. So shouldn't the behavior I see be what I expected to see? Well, yeah, it is pretty much. But that still disappoints me. Why does it disappoint me? Why do the bad parts of the human mind still upset me? Because if you listen to me, I sound like a person who has humanity figured out, at least to the extent that they are measurable. But why am I disappointed with the product? I'm disappointed with the product because I believe that at the very least, we should be a species who, if we're capable of understanding how to get to Mars, we should be goddamn capable of understanding how to help out friends and loved ones. We should be capable of understanding how not to fuck our own planet. We should be capable of understanding our own government, and when we're whooping up on somebody with our words and we have no idea what we're talking about because we have not done our research. We should be capable of accepting where we are in the grand race to get knowledge, and we're not capable of that. We should be capable enough to know that not everything that's good outside of humanity needs to look like some anthropomorphic figure sitting on high. We should be capable of knowing that we are not better than anybody else and that we are not worse than anybody else. That any one human life is of equal value to any other human life. And we're not there yet. So I think we could do that now. I don't know why we can't do that now. I know some of us have. I know some of us have that figured out, but not enough of us. Mostly what I see is like I saw in the video at Walmart. Everybody going crazy to get an Xbox. What the fuck is that? You know, how important is that to you? And I told you the psychological mechanism behind it. You go in, you're civil, but suddenly somebody runs past you. They think they have a more important reason to get it than you. And what do? You say, that's not fair. And you're right, it's not fair. You're absolutely right. So that's where it comes from. It's not everybody being animals. It's just people saying that's not fair. I can't hate that part of humanity. I don't like it. I wish it would go away. I wish we could walk orderly into the Walmart and say, well, I didn't get here before him, so he really gets dibs on the stuff. That's fairness. And that would create a lot less resentment in daily activities, from traffic on down to who takes the last brownie at the company cookout. These are things that we should be able to handle, you know, without getting our blood pressure and heart rate up there and dying early from stress-related illness. But we don't handle it well. And that's human behavior. And I am a little saddened by how limited we are. I wish we could do more. I wish we had more going for us. I can't help but wonder, is there some grand awakening we're going to have? You know, let's say something like aliens come, and maybe they don't look like little green men. Maybe they look like these fields of energy, and you can see them, and you can make them out. Let's say you have to turn a black light on, and then you can see them really well. And they start communicating with us, and just to prove that they're not making anything up, they actually use these chalkboards that they carry around with them to communicate with us. And it turns out that they can and will lead us to different dimensions if we choose to go. One at a time, they'll take us. And when you go into the different dimensions, you find this whole different kind of world where you are not human anymore. You are something else. You are just your will, or maybe just your thinking, or maybe you're just your feelings. It could be anything like that. And then you go, oh, this is what it's all about. And even those alien beings that have come in as fields of energy, maybe they don't know what it's all about. Maybe they've just been somewhat more advanced than you and have discovered a couple other dimensions and how to get into them. So you still don't know really where you are on the grand scale, do you? Because nobody can get to the end. So anyway, that's where I'll leave that at. We're not going to do any crank calls tonight. I'm not in the mood to do that. I've been questioning lately how much radio I even want to do. I've always had a crush on radio, always had fun with the idea of a radio show, but I fear this terrible thing is happening. I'm getting older, and I'm getting this involuntary maturity. It is. It's an involuntary maturity. I don't want it. I want to enjoy playing with my sound effects and fart noises. But I'm losing some of that. And even though I still feel very strongly about the major issues that we could be talking about, from politics to media and especially truth in those areas, I still don't find a lot of excitement in discussing it unless I'm actually sitting down with someone discussing it that is curious about it. So I don't know if 10 million listeners could make a difference for me in that. I don't know. It just depends on, I don't know how I value things anymore. Do you have to know everything about yourself? I don't think that's written down anywhere. And is it weak for you not to know everything about yourself? I think it's realistic, frankly. It's realistic, and it shows that you can change. And if you remember, Darwin said it's not the strongest or even the smartest that survive. It is the one who can adapt the fastest. I like being adaptive. I am quite adaptive. So Having said that, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want to do radio anymore. But I am going to say that something has changed. Something in the way that what I liked about doing internet radio is starting to dip. And I'm wondering if I feel like I've said it all in my first 101 Spreaker episodes, not including my Blog Talk Radio episodes. I'm wondering if I've done all the pranks that I wanted to do and had the fun. And wondering what good I can do from here with this medium. And I don't know. I don't enjoy music. I enjoy it a little bit, so I don't get crazy with spinning the discs. I enjoy cerebral thought, but I find that people aren't always receptive to it. There are a segment of the population in the world that want to protect their beliefs, not learn new stuff. So once they got it, I guess they just figure, well, shit, I'd rather be right or believe I'm right than be right. So they protect their beliefs. I don't ever protect my beliefs. I put them out there and let anybody take a whack at them. If you bring in data, you think you can replace one of my beliefs, go for it. If you got your data set up and it's convincing, I will. I will completely throw away one of my beliefs to adopt yours. But you got to come in with that backup. You got to come in with that convincing material. And that's what everybody should do. I strongly believe that. Einstein believed it. He said your mind is pretty much like a crossroads, and you need to keep things moving there, or because if you stop on any one thing, everything stops. That means don't close your mind down on any one subject. Always leave it open for a possibility. If you want to close your mind on your faith, I can't blame you there. That's a tricky subject, you know. If you believe 100% in the Bible, and the Bible says you have to believe 100% faith, well, go ahead. I mean, I wouldn't try to talk you out of that, but I don't know. I'm not going to do it. I know that much. I am agnostic. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's IG-gnostic, close to agnostic, but a little different. It is the most unassuming of religious views, and for that I'm proud. But outside of that, I'm not proud, because I don't know where we're going, and I don't know what we're here for. And I don't know if we're going to like when we find out, if we find out why we were here. I can only imagine that something like this, if it were a school, like Betty J. Eady says, something like this will turn out to have been a good investment if we find out, in fact, that our spirit needed to gain some kind of new perspective that it did not have, and that could only be gained through a life on Earth. Other than that, I can't see a good reason for this life, at least spiritually. Obviously we can perpetuate life so that later on the people down our lines can become something, can discover something and realize, hey, this is why we were here. I think maybe why is the wrong question. Why are we here? No reason. No reason. Maybe there doesn't have to be a why. Maybe there doesn't have to be a why. Why do we insist on asking why? Why don't we drop that question? What if we did that? What if we dropped the question, why are we here? And just said, screw it. There's no reason, but we're here. Let's do it. Would that change your outlook on life? It's worth thinking about. It's worth thinking about. And it is on that note that I'm going to get on up out of here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I'll go ahead and play the commercial real quick so you know where to find me late. And I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have anything else to say about life after death and what your beliefs are, I would encourage you to go to the Facebook page, which I'm about to tell you how to get to, and leave your comment. Just leave it right up there on the wall. And we'll talk about it. We'll have a whole good long discussion about it. How's that sound? All right. Well, you've been listening to Truth on Tap with Kevin Kierstead. And I'm out.
Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show, about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/truthontapshow. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truthontap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.